Yo, what's going on?
Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome back into More Dots Gaming. Riven here. Today we are talking about the new Remnant from the Ashes build that you just watched. I hope you enjoyed it for this Lightning Mage build that we have going on. It's a lot of fun, really explosive as you saw from the previous videos, and I had to move away from the tank build. I just wasn't feeling it anymore. You know, I was kind of bored of the playstyle, and I wanted something a little bit more damagey, and I just was not in the mood to use a shotgun anymore. So we're going to take a look at this. Let's jump right into this and see what's actually going on with it, how we're using it, and I think it works pretty well. We're on Nightmare mode right now, and as you saw previously, things are dropping pretty quickly. So we're using for our handgun, we got the submachine gun out, we're using Swarm. Swarm's pretty badass. It will unleash insects for 20 meters, repeatedly attacking them, dealing 18.85 corrosive damage per hit, lasts 15 seconds. As you saw, this was dropping some of the big guys because it just hits fast and hard and just eats their health away. Really good if you're in a pinch, especially if you have a bunch of guys around you, because it would just go from 1 to 1 to 1 to 1, especially on the small enemies. So it's just extra damage out there, and it's pretty strong for right now. So definitely a nice little Swarm mod to use with the SMG. Next up, for our main gun, and the whole reason why we're using this build is our Eye of the Storm, which, by the way, just so you understand where you can get this from, you can get this from Totem Father and Yaisha. You have to make sure the totem on the outside is blue before you go fight him, and when you defeat him, it will drop the totem antler, which you need to craft the Eye of the Storm. The reason why I'm using this gun is a static field shot is a beast. It fires projectiles that deals 236 damage. I want to make a caption here that it is not normally 236 damage. It's actually less than that. I think it's actually 180 shock damage. The reason why it's increased by that much is because I have a charm on that's giving 30% extra damage. But this fires a projectile that deals specific damage, shock damage, and applies the overload effect. Overload enemies will trigger an explosion when they get within 4 meters from each other, dealing up to 1,883 damage. Again, we have a booster on, so it's normally not that much damage in 5 meters. The cool thing about this gun too, if you saw it in the video, I would fire the mod shot and then switch back to a normal shot and hit them again, and it would actually trigger the overloaded effect and cause them to explode. So you can manually cause them to explode or let them walk next to each other and they will cause the explosion on themselves. This is great when you're in a tight spot or you just want to just blast away and have fun with AoE. This is just a fun explosion AoE build. I'm really enjoying it. With Swarm going on as well, things just die. So when you're in a place in tight quarters like the dungeon we just saw we were in, Swarm can really help us out, and these explosions can really take out a lot of enemy mass shots. It just helps out a lot. It's quick, it's fun, it's not as not as strong as survivability as were with the tank build we last had, but if you're looking to drop things fast, it's really worth it. For our melee weapon, we have the Guardian Axe. This will generate 2 times the amount of mod power per damage dealt. So every time you shoot something, you can get 2 times the spirit. Your spirit built up. This is really nice because as you're shooting things, you're pretty much never gonna run out of spirit or mod power. So you're always gonna have the ability to fire things off. I'm usually never without my swarm or my static field, and that's the whole point behind this build, is just generating mod as fast as we can and having the static field just shot all the time, up at all times. You get 3 shots with static field, so you want to have at least 1 to fire off and cause an explosion. I usually have at least 1 ready to go. I'm usually never without it. It builds up pretty quickly. For our armor, we did a little bit of min-maxing here to try and get the most damage out of certain things. So I went with Cultist Hat, so we want that 50% mod regeneration over time. And then we went with the Ososa's Husk. This is nice because as you're shooting the enemy, you're going to increase your damage on that enemy up to 10%. After a while, it will degrade as you keep shooting the same enemy over time. There's no really indication that is on that person, but you'll notice that your numbers and damage will gradually decline over a few seconds. This also increases your fire rate by 5%, and by itself, the Eye of the Storm can fire a little slow, so having that extra fire rate is really nice. And the extra 10% maximum damage is really nice. Next, we move on to the Void Greaves. I like this because you're going to gain every 5 seconds you're going to grant a damage stack, and if you take damage, you're going to switch over to a defense stack to kind of help offset the survivability issue this build does have. So damage stacks increase null damage, max 5 stacks. You can as you're standing and standing AV movement, your speed is increased by 30%. So that's nice. So as you're looking down the sights, you're going to have a little bit more speed to work with, which is great. So if you need to move out of the way a little bit faster, you have a little bit more speed behind you to do that. Next up, as I mentioned before, our mod is getting 30% extra damage because we're using the Galenic Charm. I know there'll be some arguments that if we use the the Storm Amulet, we'll get 20% damage right off the bat on top of our Eye of the Storm damage, which is for the base damage, which is nice and it's great. It will hit harder for base damage, but because you're using Swarm, and Swarm is such a powerful mod right now, using the Galenic Charm along with this, you're gonna get pretty powerful damage between these two. And that's why we're focusing on the Galenic Charm. We're more focused on a mod build than we are focused on a lightning build. So that's the reason I'm using the Galenic Charm. Next up is the Jewel of the Black Sun. Increases rain damage by 7% for 20 seconds after a range skill. This stacks up to 3 times. I know it's a kill skill ring, but this thing is brutal, and with all the enemies you're going to be killing, this thing will be, as long as all the enemies are coming in, you're going to have this up at pretty much all time. Unless it's on a boss, I know, and there's really no ads for you to fight. It's kind of a useless ring, but it comes in pretty handy because a lot of the bosses out there have ads. So as you're killing the edge, you're always going to have that huge buff on you, up to 3 times with a 21%. So that's nice. So very, very worth it. So, and then we have our increased range and melee damage by 15%. Nothing really special about this ring. It's a flat damage increase. Really worth it. Grab it. Then, what else are we using here? That's it really for this build right here. There probably are some other things you can use, but I found that this hurts a lot. If you wanted to build it around a crit, you could. I've tried doing crit build with this. I didn't really care for it. I like these damages right here over crit. So this works out pretty good. It's hit it pretty hard. For our traits have pretty much stayed the same. I did move some things around. I definitely went into endurance more because you definitely gonna be dodging more compared to the tank build. Tank build, you know, you kind of ran in and just got smacked around because you could take like 5, 6, 7 hits before you died. This one, you're lucky if you take 3 hits, especially on Nightmare. You get hit pretty hard and you're dead pretty quickly. So you really got to be able to dodge as they get closer to you. So, you know, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge bullets. So make sure you're jumping out of the way and use those iframes. Mother's Blessing, definitely because now we're playing ranged, I went more into this. I was at maybe 3 or 4, I think, last time. If you look at the tank build, this was still, it went into this because now we're playing more ranged and we're not getting into people's faces. So we definitely went into, you know, more damage reduction because we need it. And then we went into Spirit. This is probably the biggest thing that I added into was Spirit. You definitely have to have Spirit. You want your mod power generation. Without this, your build is going to be kind of useless, but you want to have at least 1 static field shot always in the back that you can just rip off and fire into somebody. So you can cause those AoE explosions or that extra damage. Because even if this will actually knock enemies down. As soon as it explodes, it will knock things down, blow up their armor. It's really powerful. So you always want 1 in your pocket. Always want 1 in the bank to fire off. That's why I want lots of as much mod power generation as we can get. I have an issue with reloading slow, so I always go into quick hands. I like having reload speed. Elemental resistance. This is great to have because normally, you know, with this you know, usually with armor you might have -1 or -5 or whatever it might be, but this helps that balance it out a little bit. So elemental resistance is really good to have. Also making sure you're using specific items. If you know you're going to an area that has tons of corrosive armor, equip this. It increases your resistance by 30%. So using this will give you 30, you know, bunch more resistance to damage. Let's actually see how much it is. Yeah, bring it to 31. So it's not bad. So 31% resistance to corrosive using that. So make sure if you're going into specific areas, you know what to use because that is very, very important. Then we have all right, so these 3 right here, Kingslayer, Executioner, Exploit. I would go with Exploiter first because Eye of the Storm actually got a buff to exploiting weak spot damage, so I would definitely focus on this before these 2 because again, it's not really a crit build. This just helps you have a higher crit chance and then get higher crit damage out of it. And if you notice, our only crit hit chance is coming from this buff because we're not really focused on that. The crit hit damage is coming from a few other things that we have going on that's giving us that crit increase. So 75% crit damage is nice, but with 25% crit hit bonus, like I said, it's not a crit build. So you definitely, as you're leveling, focus on Exploiter first because it's going to help allow this to hit harder. 20% damage is really powerful on a weak spot. Next, we moved into Triage. I didn't really have a lot into this in the tank build because didn't really feel it was necessary. I was able to just down things pretty quickly and take a lot of hits with the shotgun. So I didn't really use this. This one, like now, I like to use the Bloodwort to increase, instead of burning a Dragonheart, I like to use the Bloodwort to regenerate my health every 30 seconds. It's 2.635 health. Not a lot, but with this, it increases that by 55%. And as you get to 20%, it's 100%. It's pretty powerful. So this is definitely another priority. Build into that. Guardian's Blessing, I have 20 into this just because people jump at you, you maybe not dodge correctly, you get hit, and it hurts. So having that 10% damage reduction from melee attacks is nice. Really not a priority. I would focus on your range damage first because you're playing a ranged character, and hopefully you're dodging pretty well to get through this iframe, so you're not really getting hit by melee attacks. But this is definitely one of the more important ones. This is not a priority to go after right away. Arcane Strike, I have 3 into this, so if I want to finish off somebody or hit something to get more mod power, 3.75% I have into it. I didn't really focus into it. Definitely, this is priority. Mind's Eye, range damage bonus. It's up by 15%. That's huge. You want that. That's a priority to go after. Bark Skin, it's top. It's up there because, you know, we don't have survivability like we do with the tank build, so this helps us build it. And Trigger Happy, this one for me at least is a priority because I like to fire fast. By firing fast, it also means you're going through ammo faster. So you want to make sure that you are, well, aiming correctly. So as you're firing, you're not just hitting a wall while trying to shoot your enemy. So aiming in this one's really important. Knowing where your weak spots are with this build is important too, because the better you hit the weak spots, the quicker things are going to die. So I have 4 points to spend. We're going to put 2 into there just so we have our maxed out damage or reduction. We have 2 left. I'm probably going to drop this into Triage. Just so I can have up to 65% healing effectiveness, which is really nice. So, what else we got here? That's really the build. I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Things are exploding all over the place. This is taking on Nightmare right now. I've gotten past 2 bosses so far. It's just really going after those weak spots. You need to know where the weak spots are to really make this work. Once you understand where the weak spots are, and you're going to be dropping things pretty quickly. So I know I'm still learning where all the weak spots are in certain enemies, because some of them are really small and sometimes the hitboxes are a pain in the ass to get. But otherwise, this thing is just dropping everything really quick. Side note, I do want to get the Labyrinth armor. I'll leave that in the description below. That's part of the DLC that's out. You can't get it anywhere else. So as I'm playing through the DLC now on Nightmare, is to get to the DLC, is to get that Labyrinth armor, and the Labyrinth armor actually gives extra, I think, mod power, damage to mod power. There's also a trait out there now, part of the DLC, that I'm looking to get that will actually give you more effectiveness to mod power. So as I get closer to getting those, I'll probably change the build up again a little bit, just to give that to mod power, or just farm the traits, the trait points to actually just put into that. I may actually reduce some of the Trigger Happy to put into mod power damage, so for that trait, because that will make this a heck of a lot more powerful. So it'll be a really fun build. Otherwise, guys, I hope you enjoyed this build. Leave some comments below. I would love to hear what you think of this build. If you're playing something similar, or you have other tips out there to help out the community. So let me know what you guys think. I appreciate you checking this out. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like, and comment below. I appreciate you all checking this out. Hope you have a good day. Peace out, everyone.
Whoa. It's over. I'm in trouble.